Hello everyone, are you able to hear me? Alright, is my voice audible to everyone? Alright, so looks like everybody is able to hear me clearly. Great, great. So today we are going to discuss something very important. Alright, and it will be great that if we have a little bit of introduction about you. I will not be able to read your introduction, but we will read your introduction uh, after the session, as in because this gets recorded. So we have a great session. Today there are around 40 people in the session, and I'm hoping that lots of more people will join. All right. So great. Great. So let's start. All right. So a little bit introduction about ourselves. So first of all, welcome to No Big Data. No Big Data has the expertise in training people into big data, and most of you would be already aware about us. And we believe in expert instructors. So instead of having somebody who has been training forever into big data, we prefer the people who are hands-on as instructors. All right. And something which we have worked upon is Cloud Labs. Now, Cloud Labs is a separate company itself, but we have worked on it in order to make the experience of our student completely uh, seamless. Okay, so that people don't have to download or install anything. They can directly use our servers to practice on cloud. All right, because big data is all about distributed computing, which means multiple computers working simultaneously together. So that's why we built something called Cloud Lab for our students, and we provide lifetime access to LMS. We Part of the LMS is presentations, recordings, assignments, quizzes, and project work. Also, this session is getting recorded, so nothing to worry about. But if you want, you can take the screenshot and keep it in your document. All right. But we will share with you this slide along with the recording, so nothing to worry about. All right. So you can focus more on learning, or maybe you can try things as we go ahead. Okay. So it's a real life we provide a real life project and all about no big data. You can check our website for more information. All right, great. So moving ahead, so first of all, a general question to all of you: why would people use Python? Anybody? Why do people use Python? Wow, we have great set of team here. I can see a lot of great student of mine, our no big data, and wow, we have a great set of team here. All right, all right. Okay, so a general question. Good, good. So Makhan says that it's a quick interpreter based language. Brilliant. Sujoy says that it's an open source and it's object oriented programming as well as scripting. Great. So Sai Saikiran says it's friendly, quick prototyping. Brilliant. Uh, Makhan says that it's for quick prototyping, lots of libraries. Yes. So Darshan, everybody except for instructor, which is me, everybody is muted because there are around 40 people in the session. More than 40, more people are joining. So it will be impossible for impossible conversation if everybody starts speaking. All right. Sunil says it's a powerful language used in server automation, but most importantly, very popular in data analysis. All right. Sanket, you got the answer? All right. Brilliant. Brilliant. Anandita saying that it's easy to learn for non-computer science background people. Brilliant. Probably that is one big reason why I would prefer, why I'm giving this talk today. Okay. Lots of people, when they look at a syntax, lots of people, when they look at a syntax and there are too many symbols, then people, it's not very friendly to the users. Or if people have to type a lot in order to achieve something, then it's not a great programming language. All right. Therefore, the programming language is for consumption of humans, while it gets interpreted by machines. All right. So Makan says it got interfaces for almost every library. Brilliant, brilliant question. Now, so why do people use Python? First is software quality, because the code is readable because Python enforces that you type tabs. Okay, you always have to you always have to indent your code properly. All right. So the software itself, the library itself, the language itself is enforcing, Python syntax itself is enforcing the readability, and readability leads to reusability and maintainability. Okay. And also, not only the tabs, but there are many features in Python. The way the syntax is designed, the way the libraries are constructed, everything is designed from readability and reusability perspective. Okay. And that's probably the reason why Python is considered very easy to learn language. Okay. So it's probably, if I had to learn a single language quickly and I don't have too much time, I would probably would have learned Python. Okay. And honestly, I have been working in Java for like 10 years, not 10 years, around 15 years now. So I've been working in Java for like 15 years, but if I have to get something done quickly, and my personal choice, if you ask, it is Python. The certificates which you received from No Big Data were all generated via Python. The and There are a lot of automations which we do from using Python. Reason being, I found it easy to learn, and the code remains readable. There are brilliant libraries. All right. So readability plays a very important role, because the code which you write in an organization, you would not believe how many times people are going to read it. Okay. The other criteria, the other feature of Python is object oriented and as well as functional. So it started as functional, and then it also built the object oriented features. So you can do almost everything with Python, and still it remains very simple. Next is developer productivity. You do not have to type too much of code. Okay. Like for example, when you say int I equals to, or say person p equals to new person something, which is too much repetitive. Okay. So it's dynamic typing. You don't have to type too much. It infers the data types, And the general code size in Java, in Python is generally one third or one fifth of C++ or Java code. So if you have to type a smaller code, there is a smaller code means easier to debug and easier to maintain and lesser errors, of course. All right. Similarly, the Python code can run on Windows, Linux, and Mac. Okay, it runs everywhere, just like other interpreted language, and it supports library. Even Python code runs really well on IoT devices, such as your Arduino and and your what do you call it, Raspberry Pi. Okay, so those smaller smaller devices also support Python interpreters. And the next most important thing which I found with Python is that the standard libraries are anyway available from the Python core team, but the third party libraries are really powerful. This is probably a library for probably everything. And starting with Django, Django, which is a website construction platform, and that itself is probably the easiest and most powerful platform to build the website. Next is for numeric computing. There are brilliant libraries. Numeric computing, as in the like if you have read about a book called Numeric Recipes, wherever you have to do numeric computing. Okay, numeric computing, as in you have to fit the graph, you have to do a linear regression, and much more can be done using the libraries provided by Python. For example, NumPy and SciPy are very brilliant libraries for numeric computing. The serial port access kind of libraries, which can directly read raw data from your devices connected to your computer, you can do a very good you can do a good game development. And and numeric programming, the NumPy is actually competing with MATLAB and is far better. All right, that is the reason why almost every new platform, when it comes in, it provides an interface in Python as well. So Apache Spark, for example, provides you a very cute interface which can run in Python. All right. Okay. Yes, Sanket, you have raised your hand. You have a question for me? Brilliant. Keep asking the question. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. All right. Okay. So the component integration part, you can invoke any of C++ libraries, which means any programs which are written in C++, you can invoke them with Python. The NumPy, which we call NumPy, is actually written in C. Okay. Therefore, for your program, you will have access to almost every other library through Python. Also, your Python program can also be called from C++, and it can integrate well with Java, .NET, COM, and Silverlight. All right, and it can, of course, talk to the higher level interfaces like SOAP, XML, Corba, and the most important part why people use Python is enjoyment. The act of programming become pleasure rather than chore, rather than a labor or work. It becomes a pleasure because you get quick results, and that gives you a kind of a joy. Okay. Now, a lot of people ask this question: is it a scripting language? What do you think? Is it a scripting language, everyone? Yes or no? Good. Thank you very much. Yes. So you are right, all of you. Yes. It's a scripting language, which is general purpose programming language that blends procedural, functional, and object oriented paradigms. Okay. So the MapReduce which you see these days as part of Hadoop, those keywords actually come from functional programming languages. All right. Now, the execute, what is the downside? The most common excuse I hear about Python is the execution speed is lower than C++. All right. So this is another this is one of the one reason, but there are better ways to solve this. You can prepare the bytecode. Right now, when you run a Python script, you basically interpret it and execute it. Every Python program gets interpreted and then executed. But you can skip the interpretation by using a compiler, another compiler called PyPy. Once you have done building your product, you can use PyPy to PyPy is a separate tool which can compile your Python code into native, and the speed is then comparable to C++. Okay. So yeah, so in case you are worried about your program being slower, you can use another compiler called PyPy, which will compile your code and speed it up. So who is using Python? This is another, you know, good good way to understand the utility. Almost every big company is, as of today, using Python. Starting with Google, inside Google now there is YouTube, Dropbox, Raspberry Pi, Intel, Cisco, and Industrial Magic. There are lots of companies, lots and lots of companies who are using Python. Okay. On GitHub, it's probably the third most popular language after JavaScript and Java. Java is still very popular. Okay, so you can have a look at lots of success story which are available on their website, and who are using there are many domains who are using Django and other platforms, and the codes from various kinds of users, what do they say about Python, is also available here. You can have a look at it. I'll send you this presentation. And there is also a lot of library list available on Wikipedia itself. So there are lots and lots of users who are using Python. So you can do probably everything which any other language can do. So you can do a systems programming, you can do a GUI, you can do internet scripting, you can provide a component integration, database programming, and rapid prototyping. So rapid prototyping is a very important aspect, as well as in case you are building your own product, other than providing Python as your domain specific language, you can provide Python as an interpreter also. Like for example, PySpark, which is Spark Python command prompt is actually it is actually it is actually a Python interpreter with which you basically talk to Spark and all of the and you can I mean when you use PySpark, which is for talking to Spark, you all feel as if that Spark has come up with this great interpreter. While Spark hasn't done much, it just bundled Python interpreter with your tool, okay, with Spark. So if you are building your own product with which you want to provide a special command prompt with which programmers or developer can interact with your tool, then you can bundle Python interpreter with your tool, provided you have written bindings of Python on top of your code. Okay, so there are lots and lots of benefits of using Python. All right. Any questions at this point? Now, a general question from lots of people is who is developing Python and how is it supported? So, it's open source and it's community driven. Okay, community driven as in lots and lots of people contribute to Python. There are many independent libraries which you can use in Python. Similarly, there is a foundation called Python Software Foundation who ensure the specifications, language constructs are in shape. And similarly, there is a PyCon. It's a group. It's a kind of a organization who takes care of making sure that Python is is um, is evolving properly. Okay, and PyCon people every now and then they do a Python enhancement proposals. What has to go in next and all. So it's very well supported. It's not partially supported. Now, Siddharth's question is, how can Python be used in system administration? Very good question, Siddharth. So let me just copy this question onto the screen. All right. Okay. So question is, how can Python be used in system administration? All right. So using Python, so generally people do a lot of system administration using shell, right? But with cell, you generally have a little bit problems when you have to do a proper procedural work. Okay, okay. So when you combine shell and say C, it would it would look like Python to you. Okay, so Python can do a work of shell plus C. So basically, and it will do it in a very simplified manner. Say for example, you have to get the listing of a directory. For that, you don't have to write 100 lines of code. You can just do it in a single line. Or let's say you want to read a configuration file, quickly parse it, and then update it. These kind of jobs are very, very, very rudimentary in Python. It's not like the way you do it in Java or C++. You open the file stream, check for this, check for that, and I mean the construct is too big. Okay, that hinders lot of developers and system admins to use Java or C++ in case of system administration. If I have to do something, I and let's say I have to do some system administration, which and I want to get it done correctly and immediately without having to worry about so much of handling of exceptions, then I would and what I'm expecting is that I might have to do lot of code which may not be possible in shell. Therefore, instead of doing it in shell programming, I go for Python. All right. I hope I was able to answer, Siddharth. Great, great. I'm happy that you really liked it. So, any other questions at this point? All right, great. Okay, there is a question from Parvela. The question is, when there are tools that do system administration, then why do we use Python? Good point. Okay, so when I say system administration, okay, when we say system administration, there are few everybody will have their own definition. If you I'll try to describe. So as part of system administration, one would be simply setting up a tool. Okay, maybe you are installing Hadoop, you're doing installing Oracle, and next comes monitoring the tool. Okay, let's say you have got 10 machines, you have got 100 machines, and what you want to do is keep checking if a particular process is running. Okay, although there are specialized tool for this particular case, but still there will be many use cases where you want to monitor many various things, like you want to keep checking if your mail server is running on that machine every 5 seconds, or your website is up or not. All those kind of things you want to do continuously. Okay, monitoring, backup and provisioning. So there are many tasks which you want to do continuously. Let's say on every machine, every now and then you have to update etc hosts. Okay, you have to update etc host. Now if you have to do that manually, it'll take a lot of time, right? If you have more than one machines, therefore you might like to write a script which does the same job. So therefore, although the system administration tools are good, but when you want to automate them, you want to automatically configure them or automatically provision them, then you require a general purpose language which can talk to all of those tools and get it done. So Python is good at it. All right. Yeah, Siddharth has answered it also pretty well. He says that tools cannot work with all kind of infrastructure, especially infrastructure setups that have been in place for ages. That is another reason. Another, what he is suggesting, that for legacy tools, okay, For legacy tools, lot of standardized tools may not work, for which you might have to do automation. All right, brilliant question. All right, so these are the few reasons why would you use for admin, but that doesn't mean that Python is only for admin, but it's a general program purpose programming language. All right. Now coming back to the technical strengths. So technical strength, as I told you, it's object oriented. What does it mean by object oriented? It means polymorphism, as in one object showing the behavior of multiple objects. Okay, that's a polymorphism. So it provides that abstraction layer of extending objects, and it also provides a layer of overriding functions. It also provides you a way of operator overloading. Okay. Next is multiple inheritances. It provides you the multiple inheritance the way C++ does. Not like Java, but C++. It's a functional programming language. It has got beautiful things like generators, comprehensions, closures, maps, and reduces, along with decorators. On top of it, there are anonymous functions, and which you can use, which are also called lambda functions. The technical strengths of apart from technical strengths, it is free. You can copy, embed, and sell, but it does not mean it's not supported. Okay, so if you are using Python in your organization, you are not violating any any um, any license. Okay, so do not have to worry about licensing when you are using Python. Unlike unlike uh, C sharp, unlike Visual Basic, and other proprietary language, it is absolutely free. It's open source and free, so you don't have to worry about licensing things. The other technical strengths are it's portable. It runs starting from the all the kind of PCs. Okay, Windows, Apple, Linux, on PCs, as well as it runs very well on mobile and portable devices such as iPhones and iPad and BlackBerry and Windows. So it runs everywhere. It even runs at IBM mainframes. Okay. So for Mac OS, it even runs on Darwin, which was the previous version than the Mac OS X. All right. The It's quite powerful, as in it has got dynamic typing, and it has got a good garbage collector, which is automatic memory management. It provides programming in the large support, and then it has got built-in object types, built-in tools, library utilities, and third-party utilities. Okay, which we already covered. The most probably most powerful thing about Python is the library utilities. And why there are so many libraries? Because people are very comfortable in coding in Python because it's simple to use. So simple to use led to a lot of adoption, and lot of adoption led to very high quality libraries, and hence it can be used in production for many things. It even have a movie editing tool, such as with which you can automate the movie editing. Say, let's say this video is which the video which is getting recorded right now. Later point of time, you want to transcribe the video automatically. it will do the transcription. Or there is a library called MoviePy which can do the transcription of the video very quickly. So I wrote a small app. What it does is it removes automatically. It removes my silence in the video. If the silence is going beyond 5 seconds, it deletes it. Okay, so all my video recordings, I'm running that nowadays and uploading it again. Okay, so lot of automation, because programming's role is to automate everything. If it can be automated, it should be automated. It's mixable, it's easy to use, and it is easy to learn, and it is also multilingual. Okay, any questions on this slide, the previous one? Keep asking the question, otherwise it will become a monologue. Okay, so any questions on this? No questions. Next is the history. It was created by a person called Guido van Rossum, who was a big fan of a TV series called Monty Python, and that's why he kept the name as Python. Not because of the cobra, not because of the snake, but because of the TV series. And he released this language in 2000, which means it has been 15 years since the language is being used. What are these third-party utilities? Third-party utilities means, this is Anandita's question. The third-party utilities are, the third-party libraries, such as for numeric computing, there is something called num.py. For NumPy, we call it. SciPy is there. For for SciPy. Then for movie editing, you have MoviePy, and there are hundreds of those actually. I could show you somewhere. Maybe I must have linked it somewhere. So there are lots of libraries of Python available. Okay, probably everything starting with I mean, how should I explain? So everything which is not part of the core language is a third party libraries. Core language as in string manipulation, socket connections, all of that is a part of core language. And rest of it, such as cryptography libraries, authentication libraries, and movie editing, audio editing, photo editing, all of these are third party libraries available. Sanket's question is, okay, I hope Anandita I'm able to answer your questions. Good, good. Can NumPy be used as replacement for MATLAB correctly? Yes. This is the feedback I have got from people who moved from MATLAB to NumPy. Good. We have got another question from Darshan. So he's saying that where do we get to look up these libraries on their main page itself? So if you say Python libraries, you can see a lot of libraries available. Okay, this is standard library, and there is useful module which is there, as well as I have mentioned in the beginning, this side here you can see. All right, so let me show you. Why is it taking so much memory? Yeah, you can see that there are so many libraries starting from cryptography, SQL database functionalities, game development, geographical information system, UI, and you have console, you have audio editings in so these are, if you have to update the ID3 as in meta tag, what who is a singer, who is the artist, who is a musician for a song, you can do that using Py this Python libraries. If you want to, if you want to do a, if there is a website and you want to download the data quickly and and clean the data, Python would be a good choice. So you can see that there are lots and lots of libraries available. There are so many libraries for plotting the data, and SciPy topical software has got a longer list, so you can keep on having a look at this. So these are third-party libraries. Okay, this is the third party, and these are the standard built-in support for various things. Okay, great. So let me answer to your question in a way that everybody receives it. Good. So I'm happy that I'm able to answer your question. Any other question at this point? All right. So he worked at Google now. I think he's at Dropbox. And all right. So a quick view at how to get started. So there are there are many ways to get started with Python. Those who are very comfortable with Eclipse, they can download Eclipse and then uh, go to Eclipse download, prefer the 64-bit, and then download Eclipse IDE for Java developer. And after that, you can go to help and then click on available software. You can click on, install new software. After that, you can just enter enter this add repository. And after you have added the repository here, you say here click on add, and then you'll get this add repository. And once that is done, you will see a list of things. Out of this, just select the first one. That should be good enough. And agreement, of course, and then restart Eclipse. And once you have done, you can click on new project, and then you can click on PyDev project. So this is called PyDev, and create the project. Once project is done, you can create a new file as part of Eclipse, and then you can start running the code. Once you have written print hello world, you can start running the code. All right, if you are on Windows, you can download the Python from here, install it on your machine, and then in the start menu you will see something called Python command line. Okay, for this today's session, please click on 2.7 instead of 3.3. There are multiple versions of Python available. Okay, and all versions of Python can actually work simultaneously together. Okay, so for this today's session, you will have to use Python 2.x, whatever is available, probably 2.7. All right. So do you want to take a break for 5 minutes and come back at around 9:30? Cool, cool. So Makhan's question is, can you tell us about writing our own modules in an IDE, and in case you want to reuse the code. Good. So in case of Python, a module means a folder containing underscore init underscore dot py. That's it. That's a module. All right. We'll talk about it in detail at a later point of time. But creating a module in case of Python is very straightforward. We'll talk about it. And I found Python to be the most straightforward language when it comes to creating your own module or packages. It's very intuitive. All right. So let's take a 10 minutes break and come back by 9:32 p.m. IST. Okay. All right, so should we start? Is everyone back? Great, great. So some of you must have installed Python already. In case you have, you can open up the interpreter now. All right. Let me also try to open my interpreter. Is font good enough for you? Looks like people haven't yet come. All right. So is my screen clearly visible to you? Please respond by typing. Can you see what's written here? If you're on Windows, you can just go to Start menu and click on Python command line. Okay. And then you will see the grade. Now let me just, because I'm on on Mac, I can just open the terminal and type Python. And this shows that which version I'm using. Okay. All right. So those who are seeing this kind of interpreter for the first time, let me just give an overview to them. Unlike our C++ programming, where we used to write code in a big editor like Eclipse or other, here we write one statement at a time and it gets evaluated immediately. Okay, it's great way to test, and it's great way to try things out before you build a program. Same way, although Python program is a proper full-fledged program just like your C++, but here you can try out things immediately on this prompt before writing in the code in a text editor. All right. So the general way lots of developers do is, so they keep an editor open, say their text editor, maybe Sublime, or maybe if you're on your Mac, you might want to take a look at either Sublime or TextMate. Similarly, in the case of Windows, you might like to have a look at Notepad++ or something of that sort. So you can open up the terminal by on Windows and you will see this. So here you can type the statement in quickly and you will get the results here. Okay, so you can think of it as a beautiful calculator which can do a lot of things immediately, like the way I've typed a simple expression and it has evaluated. So I use this as my normal calculator. It helps me in a lot of things. So if I have to say three three I mean 3 to the power 4, then I can simply say 3 asterisk asterisk 4. All right. So it can help us in a number of ways. Okay. So yeah. So you have to import math and then you can do. All right. So quickly you can do a lot of whatever your calculator can do in a more sophisticated manner. All right. Great. Great. So are you able to use your interpreter here? Just say yes in case you are. In case you are the current student and you want to try it out, you can log into the Cloud Lab right away and run the Python interpreter there. Okay. You can log in there and run the Python interpreter and start using it rather than waiting for it to. Great. All right. So this is the probably the easiest program would be saying 1 plus 1 or saying print hello comma world. All right. So this is my command prompt. So do you like it? You don't have to wait for writing the full script to get it executed. In case you still want it that way, I'll show you that. All right. Let's say I'll write the first most simple program. Let me make a directory for Python tutorial. Okay. It's not required. I just want to do a simple thing. Now, in this folder, what I want to do is I want to write my code into, if you're on Windows, you may want to open Notepad and then let me just try here. So here I'm writing print hello. Okay, and that's it. This is my first program. You can now control S and then I go to my home folder here. There will be something called pytute folder. Yeah, here. And I can give any name, but yeah. So hello world.py. Even I can give any extension. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as now I can call it using Python and hw.py. All right. So what I did was I opened an editor, write my code there. In your case, you might like to open Notepad, write your code, save it, and run it. So this is probably the easiest program you could ever write. All right. Everybody on the same page? Good. Good. Now let's talk a little and then try a little. All right. So a program is built of variable and the expressions and the story. Okay, so vocabulary and words, what we call is variable and reserved keywords. Okay, so when we talk about when we say here, let me. Okay, so if I put a for here, so for for is a reserved keyword. Okay, for it's a for loop. You cannot say for equals to 2 like the way we say x equals to 2. Correct? The, and also in case of Python program, it's optional to put a semicolon at the end. It's just optional. So vocabulary may so you will have something called variables and reserved keywords. So you cannot create a variable name with the reserved keywords. All right. So Sujoy, it just happened that I was answering the same question while you were asking the same question. Good. So now sentence structure means that it's a expression, the full expression, as in when we say 2 plus 3 into 4, it's an expression. It has got a value. And then story structure. Story structure as in create for loop, while loop, do this 100 times, and keep doing it until this number has become 50. That's a kind of a story structure. Sentence structure is like do this. Okay, that's a sentence, as in it's an expression having a definite purpose. All right, let's have a look at it. It's a short story. It's a short story on counting counting the words. You open a file, you open a file, and then once you have opened the file, you create a dictionary, you keep on increasing the count of the word as in when you find it, and that's it. Don't get don't get intimidated if you did not understand any of this. Okay? Don't get intimidated if you did not understand even a single line of this. Okay? So we can say that you here each line is a sentence or expression, and this full is a story. And you can say that a sections like for this, these are paragraph. Okay, so let me those who are curious as to what's happening here. So here we are saying name equals raw input and then enter file. What does it do? It basically, this line, what does it do? It shows to the user enter the file name and takes it and puts it in this name. Okay, let's try doing it in a very simple manner. Okay, name equals to raw underscore input, and we say what is your name. Okay, and then we say hello, and then another print statement and name. Okay, let's have a look what happens. So so we can do things like python, and whatever we have written here, we can say hw.py. What is your name? I say Sandeep, and it says hello Sandeep. Okay, so what exactly happened here? We are calling a function called raw input, and this is our text, the text which we want to display, and that's it. Okay, if you did not understand it, don't worry. Okay, because a programming language, the way you learn it is you basically uh, do some things first, assume that okay this is working fine, and then you start getting into it. Later on we will describe what is a function, how does it work, and all that. But for now you can assume that this is sort of a predefined way of reading the data from the user. All right, you mean this code Makan? All right, I think a better thing to do would be I say new and I say document. Okay, and there I can click on share, and click on this is like py and get share link, and done. So now everybody can probably get this code. Okay, so we can simply paste it here. So you can try this and it would work fine. All right. Good. Good. So this is like a very the most simple program where we are reading a file and then we are splitting the words by space. Okay. And anything you do, right, you can always try it from the command prompt. Let's say you want to try what does it mean by split. Like here we say text dot split we are saying, right? Let's define text equals to Sandeep space Giri. So we are assigning this string to text. Okay. So if you type text again, it shows you what is inside. If you say text dot split and just do this, you can see that it has split it into two portions. Okay. You can see that. Good. And so similarly, that's where the command prompt comes into play. Next is that the reserved words, as I was telling you, there are few reserved words with which you cannot name your variables. Okay, there you cannot name your variables are something you give name to a value. You give a name to an object. You give it, it's the name given by you. But you cannot use any name. You can only use the name which is not any of these. And delete and del for is raise. Let's say here whatever we have typed just now, say text, right? Instead of text, if I try to say is equals to something, it'll give an error. All right. These are reserved words. Next is that, so here we are assigning things. So if we have x equals to 2 and we say x equals to x plus 3. So what will be x now? Anyone? Quickly, what will be x now? Good, good. All right. If I if I have to say x equals to, all right. So and that's how it works. So you can also say print x instead of just simply typing x, and it'll say show you the value of x. Okay. So these are like most simple things, and yeah. So first one is an assignment statement, and second one is assignment along with this evaluation. So you can always assume that we there is a new value being created where 2 plus 2 will happen and the value will go into x and so on. Okay. Okay, and yeah, so as I was telling you that you can create a script and all, so that's what is written here. Okay, so interactive, you can either create a script like the way I have showed you, like here, the way I've displayed earlier, by creating opening up your text editor such as Notepad. You type your code there, then do a file save, and after saving it to a location, you can run it from the command prompt. Okay, let me keep two things open. I'll just go pytute. Yeah, so you can see there is a file called hw.py. I said cat so that I can see what's inside the file, and to run it I can say hw.py. Okay, now it's saying, yeah, reading my name, and that's it. Great. Yes, Ankit, you have a question? So the both models like interactive and script is clear to everyone? So program steps or program flow, like a recipe or installation instruction. A program is a sequence of steps to be done in that order. Some steps are conditional, they may be skipped. Sometimes a step or group of steps are to be repeated. Sometimes we store a set of steps to be used over and over as needed at several places throughout the program. Okay, so these are sequential step. X equals to 2, then print x equals to this. All these are sequential step, and that's what we call a program. Sometimes we want to write a complex program where, like for example, x equals to 5. If x is less than 10, then print is smaller, otherwise print bigger, and so on. So like for this case, okay, let's say we have this. Okay, so let's say we have this program, and if you want to write comment which something which you don't want to be interpreted or which you do not want to be part of the program, instead you want to document something. This is my first program. Okay, so either I can write a semi. So what exactly are we doing? X equals to 5. We are assigning 5 to x. And then we are writing a condition. If x is less than 10, then print is smaller. If x is greater than 20, print bigger. Okay. And we have saved it into hw.py. Now we can go to the command prompt and say python hw.py. Okay. So it will print smaller and bigger. Sorry, it will print smaller and finish. Now if I say 50, what will it print? Quickly, somebody. If x equals to 50, what are the things it will print now? Bigger and correct, correct. So it will print bigger and finish. So you can see that. All right. So do not panic if you did not understand these conditions right away. Okay, and you can see the way I was telling you that you have to have an indentation can be either tab or spaces, but it has to be consistent throughout the program. It cannot be that you can use spaces and tabs interchangeably. Correct, thank you, Anandita. Yes, good, good. Sometimes your program might be complex, it may not be just simple straightforward one. Okay, it might involve more number of steps than the number of lines. In such cases, like you might want to keep on printing n and keep on reducing n by 1 unless n reaches 0, right? So if n is greater than 0, then print n, go decrease by 1, again check, again print it. Keep on doing it unless n is less than 0. So this is something which you can also write. All right, this is called a while loop. Okay, so I'm extremely sorry in case you were wondering, in case you want to try this one or the no, no, yeah, this one. So I'm also typing it parallelly. Yeah. All right, now you can understand what does it mean. So you can see that here we are iterating over the list of words and then putting them into the dictionary. Okay, and Then we are again iterating and printing it. So this story is about counting words, unique words in the text. Okay. And a paragraph is like maybe a for loop, while loop, and so on. So this is what our quick introduction about Python is. So do you have any questions at this point? Otherwise we can move on to the next session. I think there is a Python online. So I think there is some Python tutorials online. Have a look at that. All right, yeah. And now should we carry on? Do you have any questions for me? So we'll as we go ahead in this session, we will revisit these concepts. Any questions, Anandita? No questions. Good. Okay. All right. Moving on. Now that was a general structure of our program. So let's talk about the variables, expression, and the statements. So 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 fixed values like when we say when we say 2, 2.3, and Sandeep, these are fixed values. They are not variables. Okay, we cannot change them. Okay, it says that it cannot assign to a literal. Okay, similarly, or equal to means we are assigning 3 to 2 here, which is wrong. But to assign x, 3 to x is okay. So, so these are called literal or constants. Okay, strings you yeah. Important point here. You can put strings either in double quote or single quote, but you cannot mix it. Okay, the, the other way you can mix it is by putting double quote in single quote, or by putting single quote inside the double quotes. Do you see the difference in the three cases? This is okay, this is not okay, while this is also okay, in which double quote is part of our string. Here single quote is part of our string. Is that clear? Great. Also, in case you want to have double quote inside a string, you can keep this. Okay, in case you want to put slashes like this, then you can have this. Okay. Okay, so I hope these examples are clear enough. Now variables are a place in the memory, and when I say memory, it means RAM. Any variable we define x equals something, or even when we are saying this, internally it's going to get assigned into some memory. Okay, so a variable is a named place in a memory which programmer has a handle to. X is the handle to this memory where this 12.2 is stored. Okay, programmers get to choose the name of variable. You can change the name of the variable. Okay, and you can also change the content of this memory using this variable. Okay, this is something very straightforward to understand. Also, the variable names, it should it must either start with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start with a numeral like this. Okay, or hash. Okay, also it should contain letter, numbers and underscore, so you cannot have dot in the name. Variable name is case sensitive, which means these three are different variables. Okay, these three are different variables. You can see that x equals 2, capital X equals 3. So capital X and X are two different variables. Okay, so anything when we say something, you can try out immediately on the interpreter. Okay, we have already talked about these things. All right, now let's talk about let's talk about assignment statements. The assignment statement can have uh, an expression on the right hand side and a variable on the left hand side. So a variable equals expression. That's what the grammar is. So we say, and this expression could be very complex, it could be very easy. And when this expression gets evaluated, it gets evaluated in the following fashion. Okay, you can see that. So the value of x is something, okay, like zero point 0.6. So zero point 0.6 and 1 minus zero point 0.6, which is zero point 0.4, and zero point 0.4 into zero point 0.4 into zero point 0.6 into 3.9 is 0.93. Okay, so that way it is getting evaluated. And that the moment we assign it, the instead of zero point 0.6, it becomes 0.93. All right, this is something important to remember, that the numerical expressions, okay, are the following, like plus is obvious, subtraction is obvious, multiplication is not x, it's asterisk. Okay, division is slash, which is also obvious because we don't have a division sign on the keyboard. Power is double star, not the caret sign. Percentage is remainder. Remainder is when you divide something, but and say for example 3 percentage 4 is 3, 3 percentage 2 is 1. When you divide and whatever is the remainder, then comes the numerical expression. So you can see that these are the examples actually. Okay, now the order of evaluation, okay, which is very important to remember, because that's where the BODMAS rule and whatnot has been taught to us since childhood. So here, in a similar fashion, the way we had BODMAS rule, in the similar fashion, the order of evaluation is there. Okay, so order of evaluation is based on the precedence order, and in the way these, for example, 1 plus. So can somebody tell me the answer of this one? Anyone? Quickly. Has anybody tried this one? 1 plus 2 into 3 minus 4 divided by 5 asterisk asterisk 6. Let me write to this. All right, let's have a look at it. So it's 7. Good, Sujay. All right. Now we'll see how it reached to the 7. Okay. So the in in a statement, brackets like BODMAS, right? BODMAS, brackets get executed first. All right, which means if I say 3 into 1 plus 2, first 1 plus 2 gets executed, then the multiplication. Okay, so 3 into 3. Then the power, as in if I say 2 into 3 to the power 2, it will be 18. Sorry, yeah, it'll be 18. That caret character is actually this caret character is actually OR in Python. Then comes multiplication. After the power, the multiplication get executed, and then the minus or plus. Now addition and subtraction, if there are addition and subtraction in a same line, it doesn't really matter which gets executed first, right? The answer will be same. The only problem occurs in case of and division and multiplication. So if I have 2 star 3 divided by 2, so in this case, whether it should be first multiplied and then divided, or it should be 3 should be divided by 2 and then multiplied. Okay, this does not matter much. Order doesn't matter much if the division is happening in the decimal numbers. You will see it later. Okay, so in the case of doubts, the execution is from left to right. All right. So out of this, the most important one is, yes, Makan. 3 divided by 2 is different from 2 divided by 3. That's correct. Now let me just pick it and try to predict. So, okay. So although there are no parentheses here, so we could actually write things like 4 minus 1. Oh, right, right. Correct, correct. Thank you. So 3 divided by 2 is 1. You can see that. Okay, because here it's a integer. It's considering it integer. If I say 3.0, then you get 1.5. All right, keep that in mind. That's a common source of mistake to everyone. 3 divided by 2 is actually 1 because it's casting it into integer, and therefore the decimal part is missing. All right. So yeah, but point 0.3 Makhan is point 0.3, not this. Okay, if you do that, it'll be 0.15. All right, is everyone with me? So this is operator precedence, and probably this is common for all languages. Okay, now integer is division of integer is little weird, as I told you that if 99 divided by 100, it's not 0.99, it's 0. Similarly, okay, so whenever there are two integers and you are dividing them, the result is always integer. The decimal part is gone. But if either of the numbers, like whether 99 or 100, is marked as decimal by putting dot 0, then the result will be decimal. Okay, so this is the data types of here. So whenever we have, okay, every variable, whatever variable we talked about, the memory space has got a data type. And whenever we try to stuff one into another, one value into another, it tries to cast it. It tries to fit that variable into that memory, and if required, it will try to trim the values, and it will try to fit there. Okay. For example, okay, I'll show you later. Yeah. Okay, but in case of Python, when you are assigning new values, it starts pointing to a new space in the memory. Okay, it doesn't modify the existing one. All right, similarly, let's say we have got x equals to Sandeep, or let's say we have got x equal to x, right? And we say x plus 1. It says an error. You cannot concatenate the two. You'll have to translate 1 into string. So the moment you say string, you are basically forcing 1, which is a number, to become a string. A string is an array of characters, okay? Array of alphabets, or you can say characters. Now you can see that we had to force 1 to convert into string, and then it got concatenated. Now the other thing to remember is the behavior of plus is dependent on where has the plus come. 1 plus 3 leads to 4, but if I say string of 3, and I say, I just put single quote here. See, it's 1 plus 1 is 12, 11, and otherwise it's 2. Okay, so there's a difference between data types. So type does matter a lot, as I was describing just now. We could, if you want to check what exactly is the type of x, okay, it'll show you that the type of x is string. All right. Also, anything, whatever we are writing here, you can take it and put it in a file, and it will become the Python script. All right. So these are string translations. You can have a look at normal string translations, string conversions. Let's say there is 1 plus 1. Okay, the way we were saying 1 plus 1. Now we have want to convert it into an integer. We can simply say like this. And now if we say plus 1, it will become 12. Is this clear what's happening here? Anandita? Makhan, Venkat, Sujoy, everyone? I think I should have asked you instead of telling. Awesome. So everybody with me? Now, there are few things I would like to work on when you are here. So otherwise, user input I have shown you already, and comments I have told you about. Okay. Now here we can actually yeah. So on top of this, all right. The next thing is as we told you that when I say x equals to Sandeep like this within double quotes, x is basically a string, right? That means when I on top of a string we can execute functions. Okay? We can execute functions which are related to the string. Such as first one function is x dot split, for example. Okay, split, and I say e, split my name with e. So you can see that it has got send, empty, and p. Empty because there were two e's. If I say d, it will split it based on d. So Joy's question is that how do we comment multiple lines? So multiple line commenting is not there. I think I've never seen a multiple line comments in Python. Okay, good question. So yeah, I think I don't think there is a multi-line comment in Python. All right. So you can start using lots of, and an important thing to remember in case you don't know what are the functions available on a particular object, you can say dir and x. So you can see that there are so many functions. Also, you can say help and x. Okay. So help and say help and I think string. Yeah, you can see that. So if you say help string, you get this. It tells you all the methods which are available to you. Okay. Let's say there is a replace, there is a split, there is a translate. Okay. And you can, the way we had x upper. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Makhan. So Makhan is saying that you can put multi-line comments with triple quotes like this. Okay, okay, this is something. Let's try this. Okay. Good part about these languages is that you can quickly try what somebody is saying rather than asking anyone. Now you can see that the full block is comment. So these are called block comments. Okay. Thank you, Madhu, and thank you, Makhan. All right, great. All right, I'll just mention triple quote for block comments. All right, so good. So you should always keep the names of variable which you can remember, which makes sense, so that you don't have to try to figure out. Like bad variable names you can see here, it's pretty difficult to track what is going on, right? This is probably the worst name I have ever seen. Okay, all right. So let's do a quick exercise. All right. The question is here. Yeah. Write a program to prompt the user for hours and rate per hour to compute gross pay. All right. Anandita, we can take this question. You just drop me in a separate email. I can answer your question related to Hadoop cluster over there. Okay. So write a program to prompt user for the hours and rate per hour to compute gross pay and something like this. So enter hours, enter rate, and your pay is this. This is the output. This is the output. Yeah, anyone? So in case you have not written, let me just try to write. Okay. So we say hours equals raw underscore input, and we say all right. And next, in the same fashion, we could also say we can say here, and this is rate. Okay, this is rate, and we know that it's coming as a one is coming as a decimal, other is coming as a integer. So we can say int, cast it into int, the full thing. Okay, we are casting the result of raw input into integer, and this one we can cast it into float. All right, and then we can say print pay and plus hours into rate. Okay, let's try to execute this program. So I say 3 and rate is 2, which is saying that you cannot concatenate a string and float object. Why? Because we have to cast this into a string because that's a float. Okay, so we say 2 and 3. So Madhu is suggesting that we can use input function for integer. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. We can use that. I mean, either scanf or we can also say the integer input one. All right, great. Any questions at this point? So we were able to do a very simple program which takes some input and prints. All right. So now you can write simple programs such as compute interest based on principal, rate, and time. Okay. Yes, Sujay, go ahead. Okay. All right. So I have two questions. So I'll take some more time. No worries. Okay. So let me just close this editor, minimize it, and go back to the questions. So first is, okay. So first question from, yeah. I remember you said Python is dynamically typed. Then also, do we need to cast it as float while printing the result? Yes, we do. Why? Why we had to cast? Because here in this program, what exactly were we doing? We were trying to concatenate a string. This is a string, and when we say plus, we were concatenating this number with a string. So Python doesn't really know what exactly are you trying to do. Okay, do you want to concatenate or do you want to increase? Okay, if it silently casted your number into string and concatenated, there were chances that you might make mistake. Okay, so it's on purpose that it forces you to cast it. Okay, although this operator could have casted it automatically as well. Okay, plus operator could have casted it. Good. Now next question. I'm happy that you got the answer. Okay, so next question from Venkat is, coming to the end of session, can you please highlight the features that are different from, say, C++ and Java? Okay, so the feature wise, if you think about feature wise, all these languages have object oriented variables, loops, and everything. They have all. What is different? What is different is simplicity, okay, and enforcement, enforce enforcement of tab, as in enforcement of indentation. Next is an interpreter. All right. I mean command line interpreter, which you can keep on typing interactively. Okay, and as compared to different from C++, the memory management is like Java, which is automatic. So you don't have to keep worrying that my string is this much, we need something else. All right. So just like Java has the garbage collector, okay, we call it GC garbage collector. Oh, okay. So that is different. Second is it provides you very powerful construct, very powerful constructs in terms of in terms of procedural or functional languages. Okay, so you don't, if you have to pass a handle of a function to another function, it's very straightforward. All right, so the so simplicity, simplicity as in you don't have pointers, you don't have the complex constructs of keep on creating the classes. Like in Java you have everything is a class. Even if you don't have to do anything with programming, you still have, if you don't have to do anything with oops, still you have to keep on creating classes. Okay, those are the irritating point. So even though, see, every problem cannot be modeled into object oriented programming. Okay, there are some class of problems which do not make sense with oops. Still, in case of Java and other language, you have to deal with it as if it's a object oriented. There are other kind of paradigms that are also required. Okay, next thing is that inspection of variables, and the way you can pass a pointer to a function very easily, execute it also. So that is far easier. Okay, so I hope you get the difference. Now, different from Java. Okay, different from Java for me too. Okay, so one difference is procedural. Okay, the functional constructs like maps and reduces. Maps, we if we had some time, so we could have covered this. Maps and reduced and etc. Okay, and you don't have to type too much. Okay, so for example, int x equals to, you have to write this, while in case of Python, you just have to write things like x equals to 4. So this is unnecessary. Okay, this is unnecessary in case of Python. This is not required. All right, so, and basically the focus is on readability of code instead of being pushed around by the language constructs. Python tries to be programmer friendly. Okay, all right. Now, in case you have started an interpreter and you are trying to get out, either you can press Control D or you can type exit. All right. Is that your question, Anandita? All right. I hope I'm able to answer. And Makhan, I can, if I had some time, I could have shown you, but we can take it offline. How to create packages and modules. That's actually very easy. So yeah. So right, again, if you are on this prompt and you are trying to exit, you can say exit like this, Anandita. All right, or you can press Control C, Control D. Good, good. All right, any other questions at this point? So this would be good enough for you. Now you can go ahead and try to understand the tutorial. You can just go through the Python tutorial, okay, and take step by step forward. And yeah, so probably this is good. This is a good starting point for all of you. Okay, and a language is not something you can just learn immediately. It takes a time. Now, Mahendra's question is how Python is different from R in terms of data analysis. Okay, so all right, let me go back to my editor. How Python is different from R in terms of data analysis. Difficult question. And actually, let me try to say. So R is very focused on data churning, like SQL. Okay. So R is very much focused on data churning, just like the way SQL is. What is very difficult in R, okay? What is very difficult in R is things like looping. Looping, creating objects, creating function definitions. Although that's possible, but yeah, it's not something which R is designed for. All right. And R also comes up with a great library, but Python is more like a general purpose language. So if you have to do things like write your own parser, if you have got some data which is in a complex format which you are not able to use R for, then you can use Python to clean up the data. Okay. There are certain scenarios which are really difficult to get it done through R. Okay. And SciPy, SciPy and NumPy are far more powerful than R for data analysis. Although R has got great set of libraries, but still, I hope I'm able to answer your question, Mahendra. All right, all right. Thank you very much. If you have any question, feel free to connect with me. And yeah, so just reach out to. I'm just typing reach us at knowbigdata.com. All right, we have Sai Kiran's question that how is data visualization done in Python? So Python has got many libraries which can help you with the data visualization. As I was telling you in the beginning that there is a good library for data visualization. Let me take you to that slide. So data, there are really just like the way you have plot, xplot in case of R. Similarly, you have data visualization in Python. Okay, these are very powerful ones which you can use in Python. Okay, all right, all right. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at that. All right. Thank you, Sujay. Thank you, Sai Kiran. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, Anandita. Thank you, Venkat. I'm happy that you find it great. All right. Great. Great. If you have any question, reach out to us and we can have a discussion. Yes. From now on, actually, you can try everything by yourself. The initial hesitation, I wanted to break your initial hesitation in trying it out. All right. So do follow this and try to solve it. All right. So the whole objective of this class was to, kind of a icebreaker towards Python so that you become little comfortable. There is not that big a deal and it can be done even in 10 minutes time, whatever you have. All right. Anandita, did it make you comfortable? Were you able to execute the things which we talked today? Malikram? Great, great. So, all right. I hope I'm able to, uh, convey what I wanted to convey. All right, great. Thank you, Malikarjun. All right, bye bye. Sure, sure. We'll send you the recording. No worries. All right. Bye bye.